This video was from my plague mains and my plague lovers out there. I know it's a select few of you, but I just want to say huge shout out to all of you, alright? The plague is by far the most underused killer in Dead by Daylight, and I feel she has a lot of potential. So this video is going to be a discussion video about some potential reworks that I would like the plague to get. And it's just going to be a little discussion of some ideas that I have. I've checked the Dead by Daylight forums, Twitter, and Reddit, and I've seen some ideas that people have on some buffs that I would love to give the plague. And I'm like, why not make a video talking about some of my ideas that I have, alright? So I'm gonna get into number one. And I believe a lot of plague players could agree with me with this one, for sure. It is the volume of her chanting when she has her corrupt purge. She is very loud when she has her corrupt purge, and it is very hard to distinguish where survivors are around you if they are coughing. Alright? And I use a headset. I could imagine how hard it is for people who play on speakers, and it could definitely throw you off in finding survivors around you and potentially letting them escape. Alright? So that's my issue with that. Number two, this is number one on my wish list, and I wish the plague could see the sickness progression timer on survivors. There are times in a match where you puke so much on a survivor and you're wondering how the survivor didn't get broken yet. Alright? And you are now in the situation where you have to decide, should I hit the survivor and let them get distance and go to a stronger loop? Or should I kind of wait it out just a little bit more to see if they get broken so you could get a one-shot down on them? Alright, so there are times like that where having the progression timer will be very beneficial if the plague can actually see this. And yeah, this is by far the only major thing that I'll change about her. Yeah, so those are probably the only changes I'll make to the plague. I feel if she gets any other changes, she'll be just way too strong. And I made a post on Twitter talking about some changes that I'd like to see the plague get. It got, I believe, 70 likes, and all I said was, as a plague main, I would love to see a plague rework. She should be able to see the progress meter of infection on survivors, give survivors a penalty for being broken. For example, maybe a bit of gen slowdown, etc. She also deserves her own chase music. It should have an ancient vibe to it. Alright, so I kind of rethought this tweet, and the part where I talked about the regression thing, I feel it's just a little bit too much. I feel survivors are already at a disadvantage of being broken and being easily tracked on the map when they're coughing. So now I'm gonna get into some ideas that others came up with and read what they had to say, and some of them are quite crazy. Alright, they want the plague to be like a S-tier killer. This one I believe was on Reddit, and this person says, plague buff idea. My issue with her is that survivors just don't cleanse, which is honestly quite bullshit, as they just dodge her power. So I want to provide a not cleansing as a survivor to allow her corrupt purge to actually be usable. So what this person is having issues with is those survivors who are not cleansing. Alright, so let's see what this person has to say. Number one, survivors suffering from broken sickness receive a 25% action speed penalty. 25%? Really? Yeah, I think that's way too much. Imagine pairing that with like thanatophobia. That's ridiculous. I think that would make her very powerful. That would be a very powerful change. Number two, survivors are killed if they don't cleanse in a certain period of time after being made broken from Val Purge. So yeah, this person's pretty much coming up with ways that they want survivors to be forced to cleanse. And this is just way too strong. Survivors are literally gonna have to cleanse. They're gonna be forced to cleanse if the plague actually had this built into her base kit. So number 3, Survivors which vomit on generators illuminate that structure to the killer. So this is kind of like a crappier version of black incense, but it's kind of built into her base kit. Way too powerful. So what you're telling me is if all survivors are broken and they're on gens, you'll know exactly which survivor is on a gen. Or say if a survivor goes in a locker, that locker will like highlight. It will be like in a red aura, so you'll know which survivor went in the locker. Nah, bro. That's ridiculous. That's insanely OP. Especially built into her base kit. No way. That's insanely OP. And number 4. If everyone is made broken, the plague automatically receives corrupt purge for 2 minutes. The plague by default has corrupt purge for 60 seconds. 60 seconds might not sound like a lot of time, but when you have corrupt purge, 60 seconds is a lot of time. And this guy wants the plague to have 120 seconds of corrupt purge, which is insanely overpowered. That's way too good. Way too good. Yeah, so their idea, I'm not gonna bash them for their opinions, but man, that they just want plague to be an S tier killer. Someone's like, if she doesn't get Egyptian themed chase music, I will riot. You know what? I completely agree with this one. The plague is by far the most unique killer in the game, both aesthetic wise and power wise. I don't think there'll ever be a killer that actually pukes on you. She deserves her own chase music, and I hope she does get it in the future. And if she does get her own chase music, it should have a ancient vibe to it, or maybe like a religious feel to it, you know, maybe some chanting or something like that. But yeah, I definitely feel she deserves her own chase music. So I'm gonna get into one more, and this person says, please, I have one plague request. When plague holds corrupt purge, upon getting stunned, she loses her power. Please change this. If Oni can be stunned in his power and not lose his, why does plague have to lose hers? I was kind of understanding where she was coming from with this, but when you think about it, the Oni actually has to find a survivor, hit that survivor, and collect blood to get his power. So that's a lot of work already. And if Oni is going against some good survivors, those survivors are going to drop pallets early because they know this will hinder Oni in his later game. The Oni has to work harder to get his power, so I don't feel he should lose his power when he gets stunned. But Plague, all you have to do is puke on a survivor, and it is now up to that survivor to either cleanse or not to cleanse. And if they cleanse, which literally takes 0 effort, the Plague gets her power. So all the Plague has to do now is just walk to that well and take her power, and that's it. She doesn't have much to work for to get her power. For my Plague players, if you have some ideas about some potential buffs / reworks that you would like to give the Plague, please drop them in the comment section down below. I'll love to read them and see your opinions. So yeah, I guess that's about it. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, hit the subscribe and the bell notification down below. I will see you guys in the next one.